Hello and welcome to another episode of Swim Sets by the Pool. This is the podcast where you get free swim workouts and tips that will help you swim better. We get swim sets from all over the world. Today, our swim set is sent to us from a fan, a listener of the podcast. Jeff, he's a triathlete. We're going to dive into it. But before that, Kyle, tell me, what's good, man? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you, Nate? Yeah.
Doing all right, man. Just still hanging on, but collarbone's healing. But anyways, but what's up with that sweater, dude? That is style, man. That is style.
Thanks. My mom bought it for me when we were in
Nice.
Colorado. She just came back with it and was like, "Hey, look at this sweater." And I'm like, "Well, it is getting colder out in California now, so I'll gladly take it off you." And been wearing it now. It's super comfortable. So,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
couldn't be happier to have my ugly Christmas sweater a little early this year. So,
Dude,
thanks,
that's
mom.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. Shout out Kyle's mom. She's a wonderful woman, very nice. And yeah, dude, I'm excited for this episode. This is like not actually a typical triathlete set, so I'm really interested to dive into it and get your takes on it.
Yeah,
Um,
this will be a blind reaction for me. I haven't seen it yet. You just
yeah,
sent it to
yeah.
me now as we started this thing, so it'll be fun to just let you guys know what I think. But
Yeah, for
um,
sure. But yeah, what's your quick tip for us, Kyle, to start us off?
I I don't think I have anything too creative today. It might have come up before, but I just want to re-emphasize how important it is to eat before morning practice. And I think triathletes actually do a really good job with this, but swimmers don't generally. When you wake up, even if you got to get in that pool at 5:30, like unless you've just had a massive dinner like right before you went to bed, you got to try to eat something. Like try to get a smoothie, even a chocolate milk, half a banana, anything your stomach, train your stomach to be able to eat that early because if you do race like early in the it will really prepare you for a really early starting triathlon or swim meet. Like if you can just train your stomach right when you wake up to be able to eat, just try to start training your stomach to eat more food. It'll help so much with how much energy you have for practice. It'll let you finish your practice strong and it will train you for how you can be successful in a triathlon. When the race day comes. So just reemphasizing eating especially before practice, especially in the morning, can be so important. So make sure if you don't do that, try to do that a little more, just build on it.
Yeah, that's honestly such a good tip. I don't know why, but when I started getting into swimming when I was like 19, 20 years old, I just didn't eat anything before practice. Cause I mean, we practiced at like 6 in the morning or something. I would just rock out of bed probably like 10 minutes before I had to be there. I'd ride my bike over the pool. Luckily, I lived like right across from the pool. So it was like 5 minute bike ride. But yeah, I just didn't eat anything. And then eventually I started eating like a little bit before practice and I was like, "Oh, I'm like consistently swimming better. Like I have more energy. I'm able to like I'm not like bonking in the sets and stuff." But when I wasn't eating
Yeah.
anything, I would just like die like on every other set. And I'm like, "Oh, what is it? Maybe I'm just bad at swimming." And it's like, I think I just wasn't eating enough, you know?
Yeah, totally. I agree. Like I figured it out kind of like halfway through college and it was game changing for sure. And if there's always workarounds too. Like if you physically cannot eat in the morning, like try to like time your dinner to be later in the evening and eat a lot more, and try to knock out maybe within an hour or two after you eat. But just find a way to have food in your stomach when the morning practice comes. Eating in the morning is by far the best way to do it, but just do not practice on an empty stomach in the morning because you might have energy for the first 30 minutes, but then after that, you're going to be gone.
Dude,
So,
this might be a hot take, but if you have a hard workout, smash a Red Bull before because like it's got caffeine in it. It's got I think like 40 grams of carbs or something, which is what your body's going to be using for energy when you're like going super hard like that. If I have a
yeah.
hard session on like the track or even in the pool, I will smash just the small can. I don't do like the big ones, but just a small can of Red Bull. And dude, I feel great, man. I
That's
feel
awesome. Yeah, the Saturday before the hardest group ride of the week, I always listen to pump up music in the shower, and I drink my Monster Energy drink in the shower, and then I go and start my day. So it's a
I'm
good
not.
way to
I don't like
pump myself up.
monsters. No, I'm not a big monster guy. I don't
Yeah,
know.
anything that works. Find your groove. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Find what it is. Just not monster. No.
You
Anyways,
haven't gotten the right. You haven't tried the right flavor yet.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So Jeff is a triathlete. He sent us this set on Instagram, tagged us in it, and he captioned it with something like, "If only I could string together those times for a whole triathlon swim," because he was swimming pretty short intervals, pretty fast. And he was also like, oh, if I could swim it that fast without gear too, because he used like fins and stuff like that for a lot of this. But it's an interesting set. I kind of like where Jeff is going with this, and we're going to give you some tips and maybe change a few things here and there that might make this a little bit um, more bang for your buck and stuff. But this is a 4.7K set, so this would be like a solid set to do midweek. And we're just going to start off 10 by 100 with fins, and it's 4 on 135, 3 on 130, 3 on 125. So I'm guessing he's getting a little bit faster as this goes. Those are like his intervals, just bringing it down by 5 seconds. What do you think about that? 10 100s with fins to start off?
Yeah, honestly, that's pretty unique. I don't see that all the time, like just jumping right into something with an interval like that. But honestly, I really don't see any reason why this would necessarily be bad in any way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool. Like f having fins on for warm up can really help with activating. Like, even though you go faster with fins, you have to, put more power into your muscles to use the fins, and they're heavier on your body. So it is a really quick way to warm up your legs. And yeah, getting right on an interval and starting slow and descending is always a good process for warming up, or kind of for any set, just getting stronger as you go. So I think it's pretty cool warm up. I've never seen it before. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm liking it so far.
I mean, I've been loving warming up with fins because that's pretty much all I can do right now. So you have to swim with the fins on. But I did this in Africa when I was on training camp there earlier this year. The coach had us jump in with fins, and he's like, because we were always practicing in the afternoon. And he's like, you guys biked and ran before you came here, so the fins will just like help you keep those legs up a little bit. Because when you're a triathlete, man, I mean, we've talked about this on the episode with your coach, and he said triathletes just got those stiff ankles, and they kind of make them sink a little bit more in the water. So the fins could,
Hmm.
I realized the fins really help me loosen up my ankles and get a more efficient kick in. So I think it's fine. Obviously, you guys can change this to whatever interval works for you. Um, I guess the idea behind it is just get a little bit faster as you're kind of going down. I would imagine the 4 on 135 is probably like super easy for him. And the other thing that I thought about this is, I mean, we don't really experience this that much, Kyle, because we're still young and we have few responsibilities in life. But a lot of age group triathletes, like they've got their job that they have to work at a certain time, and they maybe have kids, and they only have like an hour to swim or something, or 45 minutes to swim. So maybe starting with intervals and knowing like, okay, this whole set is going to take me this long is pretty helpful. So yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I really like it so far. Good job, Jeff.
Nice.
The warm up there.
Yeah, yeah. And then it goes into 12 by 75 with buoy, and it says 110, and then 8 by 50 cruise on 45. So I'm guessing that's just freestyle. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's kind of interesting. He targeted the legs first a little bit with the fins, and then he's going right to the buoy with 1275s, almost the same amount of distance there. So yeah, he's kind of, it looks like he kind of balanced it out nice. It looks like he's kind of trying to warm up the shoulders now, and was warming up the legs, and then the 850s cruise kind of just connects everything, makes you, use the legs, use the arms, but doesn't, tire you out right before the set. So seems like, yeah, and the interval there is pretty stiff, 45. It keeps you on your toes even if you're really quick. So yeah, it seems like he's kind of just holding pace, just kind of like getting the blood flowing. But yeah, I like this. He's targeted every spot in the body so far that you've kind of needed to warm up. So yeah, I think he's set himself up pretty well for whatever this main set's going to be.
Yeah, he's definitely getting in some yardage and warming up the body. I think the only thing I would maybe change on this, and not that it needs to be changed, but I think maybe on the 1275s, if you did 25 swim, 25 kick, 25 swim, and you could even like take the buoy out and use the buoy as uh like a kickboard light, like it's not obviously going to keep you up as much as a kickboard, but you can practice like having your face down in the water and just kicking without the fins now, and trying to get that efficiency in your kick without the fins on. And it's just a 25, so I think that could be fun to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree. Like it definitely is like a very like yeah, 1275s can kind of like yeah, can kind of drag on a little bit too. And but at least like with 12 it's easy to kind of count because you end up on an opposite side each time. But yeah, throwing in a little bit of like a little bit of spice, especially at the front of the set where you can use more of your brain power to think about more complicated things. It's fun to kind of mix it up and keep it interesting. And doing kick like that is really good for keeping those legs fresh right after you've used the fins. So yeah, I think that's a great addition as well
Yeah.
to if you were to modify.
Yeah. And then what do you think about descending 1 through 4, 6 through 8 on those 50s?
Yeah, I mean that's a really popular one. I've gone over that block before, and yeah, it usually comes right after some sort of like choice warm up kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I think that depending on what kind of set you're going for, like especially if you're trying to go fast, it's really good to get some speed work in there, and there wasn't any speed work put in the set. So yeah, getting a 1 through 4, 4 through 8 definitely lets your body kind of adjust to different tempos and gives you kind of a taste of what your heart rate might get up to when you are swimming later in the set. So it could be really, really nice to implement that. So that would be a good change to make if you're going to make a change.
Yeah. I think that would be cool just to get a little speed in before. Cause, yeah, I mean, do you want to read this main set to us?
Yeah, I mean, this is my first look at it, so correct me if I'm wrong on
Yeah. Yeah.
something. It's written on a water bottle, which I think is super cool. I've
It
never
looks
seen
like
that before.
I'm not sure if you use like
Uh,
3 sticky notes or just like a single sheet of paper that's
oh,
like
you're
kind of
right.
skinny.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe it's
the
just
man
one.
himself
It
could
like
tell
kind
us
of.
later.
Yeah, I'll ask him. I'll message him on Instagram.
Yeah, it's cool though. I like the look. It's really that's really fun when you don't want to take a whole piece of printer paper and stick it on the wall or on your kickboard. A water bottle's never gonna have to go in the water, so that's a cool way of, and it's harder to fall off. I really like that format, and it's pretty cool looking. It's
Yeah,
aesthetically
yeah.
fun to look at. All right, yeah, main set time. 60 25s. Wow, I do not see 60 intervals of something very often in swimming. That is
Not a lot.
pretty yeah. Wow. Anyway, yeah, 60 25s, and then it's going to be 5 blocks of 3 easy, 1 fast, 2 easy, 2 fast, and 1 easy, 3 fast on, and then 3 easy, 1 fast is on 25 seconds. The 2 easy, 2 fast is on 30 seconds, and then the 1 easy, 3 fast is on 35. So it looks like you kind of do a lot more easy and a little bit of fast on a faster interval, and then you do a lot more fast and a lot less easy on a slower interval. So basically, he's giving himself time to swim fast when he has to do more fast. Which so you can tell he definitely put thought and structure into the set. It wasn't just slapped on there,
Hmm.
which I think is pretty cool. And it is really interesting to see a triathlete do a set using 25s. I feel like that is not a common theme I usually see here. So Nate, yeah, what do you think about it being like, yeah, 25s?
Yeah,
That's
this is
really
like the
interesting.
opposite. Usually you see like 30 100s or like 10
Yeah.
200s or something like that. But yeah, 60 25. So it's actually only 1500. I just did the quick maths on my phone. So 1500 is not bad. That's like a decent length main set. And yeah, I think especially if you're doing like sprint or Olympic distance, like that could be a decent size main set for you. Um, and yeah, I think if you really want to swim fast, you got to just rip a 25, you know? And it's
Yeah.
like, it's a good way to find efficiency because if you have that baseline of speed, like if you're raising your ceiling on speed, it'll be easier to get your like threshold pace there, you know? Like I think we were talking with Dan on the last podcast. He was talking about how he's trying to get the girls on the Pepperdine swim team to swim like 5 minutes for 500. He's like, if your single 100 time is 52 seconds or whatever, it's going to be a lot easier to get to a 5 minute 500 than if your fastest 100 is 56, you know?
Oh yeah, exactly. Where is your speed cap? Yeah, this can help so much with yeah being faster,
Yeah.
shorter effort and getting you really fast without wrecking you for and letting you do it again and again and again. Yeah,
Yeah. So I kind
I
of
like
like
that.
it, honestly. Like, I'd be curious to try this. And this might actually be a good set for me to do coming back from my collarbone, just short intervals, you know? I won't have
Yeah,
that endurance. So maybe I'll try this, Jeff, when I come back from this broken collarbone. But honestly, I think it's cool. I think I wouldn't change anything to it. Just know, like, if you guys are listening to this, you can adjust the intervals to whatever works for you. If you want to start on like the
Yeah.
30 and then go 35, 40 or whatever, or if you're a little faster, you could do start on the 20 and then do 25 and then 30. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's interesting and I like how it's one fast and then two fast and then three fast. And each one is just 100. So it's essentially five times three 100. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I think, yeah, I think if I had to be that guy and make two critiques to it, the first one would be I like personally, I don't know if I'm just kind of dumb or if this is just something that doesn't come easy to me or if everyone deals with this, but doing 25s on a rapidly changing interval, especially with some five like 4 on 25 and then quickly changing to 30 and then to 35, like it does take a lot of brain power to do a
Hmm.
set like this and not mess the intervals up. So you probably have to be okay with maybe screwing up the intervals once or twice, or you really just got to focus on when you have to leave. Because even as swimming the amount of years I've done, doing 25s on intervals that change can really throw off my brain, and doing the math in your head while trying to focus on going easy and fast and doing all that can get very confusing very quick. So if I ever rewrite the set, I would try to find a way to make the 25s either on 20, 30, or 40, rather
Hmm.
than having them
Yeah.
change. But that is also a very personal preference, and it actually has nothing to do with like if you mentally you can handle this interval, it's totally good. But I could see somebody that is more of a beginner swimmer that's not super familiar with times on the clock getting a little overwhelmed by this. So if you were to modify this and change the intervals like a swimmer doing this set, you could also make the intervals look a little more friendly. Put them on the 30, put them on the 40. So then you always know you're leaving on a zero rather than, what, oh, am I on the 25 or the 35? Or, so that was one of the things, but I still think it's, obviously Jeff can handle it. So good job, Jeff.
Yeah, I
And
wonder
then
if
the other
Jeff's using
thing,
a watch when he swims and he
yeah,
just looks at the
well,
watch for it.
he's got it in the photos, so he might be guilty.
Yeah, true, true. I mean,
And
my pool's nice because we have clocks on like both ends of the pool, like big digital ones. Dude, if it was one of those like rotating dial analog clocks, no chance, no
oh my
chance
gosh,
you'd
yeah,
be able
digital
to
at
do
least saves
this.
the day a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
And
get
then
you. Like honestly, whenever it's a interval that ends with a five, it's so hard for me to like keep track of it, even
oh
on like
man,
my big
yeah.
digital clocks at the Ventura pool that's behind
Yeah,
me.
and 25s are especially brutal because it's a fast turnover.
Oh
You're
yeah,
touching
yeah.
the wall, and then you're going right to the next one. At least with hundreds, you're like you can think about it for one of the laps and then focus on the other three laps. You're like, okay, when do I have to leave when I get to the wall? But 25s, you got to be on your game. Like you got to be really like so. Make sure you got your 8 hours of sleep in for this fit if you're gonna
Yeah,
follow the
for
intervals.
sure.
Uh, and
Um,
then and then
yeah.
warm down after each block. Like it doesn't imply whether he takes a break after the each block or if he goes right into it. So I think if
He's a
you were to modify
triathlete,
this
dude. He
set,
just goes right into it.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
no extra
I
rest.
personally, yeah, because you're hammering three fast on the 35 there, and then you got to go. I guess he would go right into three easy after
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, I'm assuming that implies he's going straight into it. But as a coach, if you were writing the set for a lot of kids, you'd like probably want to clarify that. Or if you're going to modify it and you need a 50 easy after each block, like feel free to take that. But other than that, the set's really cool. I really like that style and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, I think it's cool. And then it also makes you feel good about yourself because you're like, oh yeah, I did 60 of something.
yeah,
um,
yeah, well, you're gonna yeah, impress some people there.
yeah, and then it finishes with three 100s fast, and then it doesn't have an interval, it just says open. So do you think he's just taking as much rest as he needs, kind of thing?
Yeah, that's an interesting like that's almost a scary looking like block there. Like you could make that so brutal. I know
Oh yeah,
Michael,
you really could.
I think that was one of Michael Phelps's like most famous sets was just three 100. His whole practice revolved around warming up and warming down for three 100s fast. And he would try to make all three the exact same speed or find a way to somehow descend. But going full gas on the first one from the start, and the lactic acid buildup from it would be ridiculous. So like he said it was one of the hardest sets he's ever done. It was three 100s, and so yeah, this is a very scary looking block there. I mean, he could
Yeah.
just be doing these on 130 and holding a strong tempo, or you could be taking 10 minutes rest and warming up and down between these. Like I don't know, yeah. So this is a very like as a swimmer, this strikes a bit of fear into my heart. I don't know how to say it on
Yeah,
that,
it's one
but
of those things where like you really it could be as hard as you want it to be. So it's like how hard do you want it to be on the day? Because yeah, that lactate tolerance is pretty important, especially for these shorter distances and stuff. And I've done some of these sets, and it's so hard. Like I always drop off like the pace a little bit. Like there's no chance like 3 100 if I'm really going all out that I'm holding the same pace. But yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it is interesting. But yeah, no, I like it. I would probably just open is cool. I would probably specify it more personally, especially if I was giving the set to somebody. But Jeff, I'm sure you knew how exactly you were going to approach that. So yeah, cool stuff there though. I mean, I like
I
that
mean, yeah,
finisher.
that would be
It's a really good
brutal.
concept of kind of like putting those 25s into play and making it a little bit longer because it is a triathlon. Like you're not going to be doing a 25, so kind of giving you that more of that like let me do a few laps on top of that and keeping it fast. So yeah, pretty
You know what
cool.
you actually could do? I think we did something similar like this in Namibia. We I think it was 50s, but you could do it with this. You could do the first 100 from a push, just go all out, rest however much you want to rest. Do the second one from a dive
Hmm.
and try and hit the same time. And then the third one, if your pool allows, you could do the third one from a running dive
Wow, yeah,
and
that
try and hit the
just
same
make
time.
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, see that swim sets by the pool. You can be mixing it up like that. There's
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna write
a
that
tip
down for
from
you
Nate there.
guys. Yeah. I mean,
I might
I
have to
just
try that
assume
too.
every pool is as cool as mine, where you could just like run and dive into the pool whenever you want. It's no big deal. Um, but I know not every pool allows that, and if you're at like a gym pool, it's probably like 3 feet deep. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And not all decks were created as grippy as other decks. There's
that's
some
true.
slippery pool decks, and then there's some pool decks where like I don't even know why running not no running isn't even a rule.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
the most. It's like probably better to be running barefoot on it than anywhere
yeah.
else.
Three
Yeah, but
times 100.
run dives are fun. Triathletes should definitely practice run dives, and like there's literally no harm in it, and you can really get a good feel of entering the water at the start of a race. Get that adrenaline rush probably too, simulate it. So. Yeah, that's a fun way to modify those 3 100s fast. And
Nice.
then yeah, the I can kind of start breaking down the worm down here.
Yeah.
He finishes off with 875s with fins on 115, it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be not super descriptive on what his plan is. I'm gonna guess he's just going to make the
Just
interval,
chilling.
cruising it.
Yeah, cruising
Yeah,
probably.
that works for me. Kind of just keeping it like, yeah. As assuming he's not going too fast on these, it's a good way to kind of start warming it down. There's no seriously correct way to do warm up or warm down, in my opinion. It's kind of just what you need for yourself. So,
Yeah. And if you're
yeah, I
doing
don't see
those
anything
three
wrong with that.
100s super, super fast, you probably need 875s to warm
Oh
down.
yeah.
Like you need
And
that
then
time to chill. And then I don't think it's anything because I screenshotted it from Instagram. I think that's just the total distance. It was 4,700 for this whole set.
yeah, so that's a great set, Jeff. That was a fun one. Thanks for giving that to us. I really liked it. I thought it was unique for a triathlete set, but also still really effective. So those are cool sets to go over. So
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff, for sending us in. If you guys want to send us your sets, just like tag us in them on Instagram or DM us on the Swim Sets by the Pool Instagram. And yeah, we would love to look at your guys' sets and go over them on the podcast and chat about them. We love getting sets set to us from all over. But yeah, I'm going to close this out because we're getting a little over 20 minutes now. But yeah, my hot take, this is something I've been thinking about, honestly. The swim in the Ironman is too short. It's like just a warm up for the bike and the run. It doesn't really even matter, you know. Same with 70.3s. Just the proportion it is to the bike and the run, it's just kind of pointless, you know. Like if you aren't a strong swimmer, it could definitely break your race. But once you get a little bit more experienced and stuff, the swim is just like it's just a warm up. I think it should be longer. So yeah, that's my take for the day.
yeah, I'm gonna fully fully agree with you on your hot take there as a swimmer. I justice for the swim legs in the Ironman distance because oh my gosh, it can be brutal only doing 3 minutes of damage into somebody and they get it back in the first 20 minutes on the bike. But what can you do sometimes?
Yeah.
You gotta make lemonade. At least there is a swim.
At least there is a swim, Kyle. 2K
Sometimes
25.
until yeah, until they cancel it
So they
like they do
cancel
for
it.
a third of the races. You know, it's
Hey,
what can you do?
okay, just don't do those races. Anyways, good night, you guys. I don't know if it's nighttime where you are, but it is for us. Thanks for listening to this episode. And yeah, check out our last ones. We had a couple awesome guests on. So yeah, we're going to try and bring more guests on the pod just because I love chatting with people. I'm a social guy and I like hearing other people's opinions on swimming. So yeah, check out some other episodes. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.